What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Champion Living Podcast, the only podcast crossing the lines between the sport of rodeo and fitness. Today's episode, catching up on all the things we've been up to this month. A little bit about the wedding, Arizona Ridge Riders Days, talk about the Governor's Cup that just happened in Sioux Falls, and some NFR qualifiers that we are all stoked to talk about. Then we're going to follow it up with a little bit about goal setting. I think it's a perfect time of the year to talk about that and start getting those goals in line, especially you rodeo athletes talking about the next season. We're jumping into it right now. Boys, what's up? How are we?
Yeah, we're good. I am anyway. I can't speak for Paul. I try to speak for Paul all the time, and he gets upset.
As of this morning, I feel like I'm finally back in the land of the living. So I woke up with a brand new perspective on life and full of my youthful zest and energy. So we're good now.
There we go.
You sound like a completely different person.
Yeah,
that's
dude, I feel
that's
like
never been
person.
You. Zest.
Yeah, no.
Zest has never been. Zest has never been you. So
no, the old road trip the last week definitely took its toll on me, and I know some of the rodeo guys listening are gonna laugh, but I'm not really conditioned for it anymore. So the 50+ hours on the road over the last 5 days definitely took its toll. And
unless you rodeo with somebody like me, you're not used to doing it with kids. You know, so there's the other. Yeah. That's the other aspect of the old road trip is the children.
And I think that's where I messed up because I think like looking at the travels is having kids. No,
that's exactly where you messed up. That's exactly about 6 years ago.
Looking at the timeline, like I was like in my head, I was like, oh, it's not the greatest. Like it's gonna hurt a little, but it'll be okay. And then like just not factoring in the fact that everything takes longer with kids. That part got me, but
it got us too on the trip because I'm used to traveling by myself too. You know, flying and like I can zip in and out. I've got the pre-check at the airport, so I can leave. It's hour and 45 minutes to the airport from my driveway, and I park in Lot C, grab a shuttle. Takes 20 minutes. I'm there. 10 minutes. I'm through the line. I mean, boom, boom, boom. Well, this time going to Doug's wedding, we took the wife and the baby. Yeah. Turns out, we walked through security and walked right onto the plane. I'm like, thank goodness. We barely made it. And so, yes, it definitely, but you would think that we would know that by now. And I guess I should have, but man, it definitely freaking whoops your butt when
some lessons are learned
ready for
it.
And all of my
that
lessons.
Was one of them.
yeah, 100%.
Dude, I don't even have a kid.
Next time Doug gets married, I'll be way more prepared.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't.
No. That like, and I know we've told you, and I know you and I, Doug, were both a little probably inebriated. But it was an awesome wedding. I was so thankful that we got to be there, and it was a beautiful day, and you guys are an awesome couple, and I'm just stoked for you guys.
It was,
thanks, dude.
It's a new chapter.
It was awesome having you guys there.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Super awesome. Yeah, it went as good as
wouldn't miss it.
I couldn't imagine changing anything. I wish that we could show live footage of Matt dancing right now, though.
I just really wish that I had videoed Matt's best man speech. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I wish I had a recording of. Is his best man speech. Oh man, it was short, sweet, and to the point, and it was very authentic. It was very Matt Hook.
Kind of, sign one every now and then. This year was very different, and dude, I felt like I was back on the road, like working in the music industry. Like I was having to cut it off at a certain point. Like it was insane. You couldn't stop the line. There was 100 people in that line every day for an hour straight, and like these guys are running through. I bet there's 100 100 like personal like autograph sheets they each have. We went through one of those bricks a day for each guy and ran out the last day. They were signing so many autographs, and people were so fired up to be there. They sold it out. It was the biggest event they've ever had at that arena for PBR ever. So I thought that was really cool. Sold out crowd. Everyone's on their feet. Dude, the last day, last game, we're playing the Freedom. And sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the L over there.
Here we go. Here we go.
But Keyshawn's up. It's the last guy to ride. We're 1 point ahead of Freedom and like need this ride. And Keyshawn ends up bucking off. But I'm like looking at him. I've got to hold his vest. And then I just look up and the whole entire arena is on their feet, dude. Like fired up to watch this ride. And that I've never seen it in rodeo in my life like that. It was insane, the amount of energy, and just I was so fired up, dude. And I'm going to attribute that the energy is what caused that guy to lose his rope at 7.95. There's no way that anything else could have caused that. So we ended up walking away with the W there. They went 2-1. I think they ended up third in the event, which is setting them up, I think, fifth overall going into the last event of the season in Dallas this weekend, and then they'll go to the finals in Vegas in 2 weeks after that. Yeah, I think my timeline's right. They have like a bye week or whatever to get ready and go hit it. But I'm excited for them. Honestly, the Freedom looked good too. It was just one of those things in bull riding where shit happens. But it was a great time down there. Guys are feeling good, riding good. As a strength coach, not much else we can ask for there, no non-contact injuries, like they're feeling good about it. So I'm excited to see what they get done this weekend. And it's kind of cool to see. Last year they were a team, but not like this year. Like they're bonded as a team. Like they do a lot of things together. They're all eating together, hanging out. They're feeding off each other's energy. Like Nick Tetz is their starting guy each week, dude. And like, he sets the pace and the tone for the whole rodeo every single night. And he goes out there and he knows it and he owns it. And that dude works really hard out of the arena, takes care of himself out of the arena. And it shows in the arena when he's 89 to 90 and a half every single time he nods his head. And it just fires up everybody, and it's contagious in the same way that
something or 0-0. It's so often it ends up going on both spectrums. They ride 3 out of 5 or they don't ride any at all. And it's just the way the game starts. And anyway, it's pretty interesting to watch. If you don't think that the energy matters and what you see immediately before you compete matters, watch one of those and you'll be a believer.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I've known that for a long time. And even at rodeos, and I'd be riding and be watching, and you see something sketchy start to happen out there on some guy before you, I would just like, nope, not going to look at that. I'm going to look away right now. Yeah, nope, not going to look. Did you guys get to watch Governor's Cup at all?
Watched it a
little bit at your wedding.
Yeah.
No, perfect.
During the reception. during the reception, Caleb had it up on his phone, so we got to watch some. There. What a cool event!
Yeah, dude. What a game-changing event for rodeo, and
no kidding.
It's the amount of money, dude, that those guys were able to walk away with, and 2 guys really solidified their spot to the NFR in the bareback riding, which was really cool to see. And big shout out to them. They're not our athletes. They're just our good buddies. But Jacob Lees and Mason Clements really put the stamp on it, on their year at that event. And super, super stoked for them. And, Mason, dude, won the event outright, made outstanding rides, took advantage of the times that he drew well. and honestly took advantage of the times that he didn't draw the best and just made the best ride he could, and it paid off in the end, which was, man, fires me up to see. So good for you guys. Congrats on making it, and congrats to everybody else making the NFR. We've got a little bit
solidified his
Stetson
deal.
He solidified his deal like last October at his first rodeo.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Dude, and
ranked,
Richie squeaked into the finals too.
He did.
He picked up 15th hole, didn't he?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Richie's in. And that's just had a bad luck of the draw at the Governor's Cup and had a little kind of a scary injury at first. But horse just mashed him in the buck and shoot. And usually they'll just kind of rear up and go back down. And that one reared up and said, no, I'm just going to lean back.
Bareback riding. It's not like they just drew really well all year. I mean, these guys are absolute. I mean, Cade Sunye and Keenan Hayes and Dino and Jaco, and these guys they're the real deal. And this is one can only suspect that this is just the beginning of what is going to be an insane career for those guys.
Yep. If they just do the things they need to outside the arena and keep themselves healthy, they have a long road of success coming up, which is going to be really cool to see. How about some bronc riding? Bronc riding is kind of the same guys as last year, but I think one rookie, Ryder Sanford, has not made it. Correct.
Yeah, Ryder Sanford or
so.
Damos.
This is his first year.
Damo.
Yeah.
First
Sorry,
year.
I always.
NFR.
Damo,
I feel like Damo's been there. I feel like he's been there like multiple years just because he's always been right there, like in that top 20.
He was so close last year. Yeah, last year was his rookie year and won Rookie of the Year and was so close. It came down to Albuquerque and a few of those other rodeos at the end of the year and just didn't quite get it. So, and he's solidly in there this year, pretty solidly. There were times with the Governor's Cup whether I was curious if he was how solid he was, but he's in there and he actually went back to Australia. Pretty interesting. He flew back this week and he's going to spend the next 5 weeks or so in Australia prepping and not getting on a bunch of broncs, just spending time with family and relaxing. And so we can dial up our training during those 5 weeks. And then around middle of November, he's going to fly back and start getting back on broncs. And so anyway, it's definitely a different approach. And I think it's great for him to get over there and be able to see family and hang out and really get ready for the NFR.
Yeah, dude. They just went through a full season of just being on all the time. And especially these last 2 months, they were on almost every day. And so what that does for your CNS and just overall like mood, quality of life, like
they're exhausted.
All of the things. Yeah. They need the time to kind of reset and get after it. But it's good for him, man. I'm glad he's getting back there and get to see family. That always makes me feel better. And he'll be showing up fresh and ready to roll for these finals. And, that's a guy has not stopped working in the last, 3 years now that he's been training with you. It's cool to see. Cool to see hard work paying off. Really. And it just proves that, like, you stay consistent, stay true to the plan, goals are going to get achieved. And that's the bottom line right there. Which kind of leads me into
absolutely.
Well, let's talk about bull riding because we got a couple first time bull riding.
We almost skipped
Sorry.
it.
Yeah,
Paul was like, wait
Let's
just
talk about-
a minute.
Yeah, no, bull riding's got several rookies in it as well. Really stoked to see that. Sage ended up getting his rodeo count, so he's in there in the 10th hole. So super pumped for him. But yeah, we got who we
How about
got?
Hayes, man?
Hayes Waite, T. Parker.
for-
This would be his
Yes,
first
sir.
one, and Colin Teffler, I believe.
Yep.
I think everybody else has been there at least once.
Yep. Everyone
Yeah.
else has
But-
been there once, but those guys.
Something really cool, and we kind of hit on it a little bit last episode, but like in all three rough stock events, all the way down to 19th or 20th place, these guys have got $100,000 won. And so I think that's another, like, when we can kind of get into that here in a second too, when it comes to goal setting, like if your goal is to, win $100,000 per rodeo, and that doesn't necessarily give you an NFR berth anymore. Like the game is changing still, and I'm stoked for it because these guys get to actually make a living riding bulls now. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it is really cool to see. And even 2 years ago, the last hole was getting in with like 78, 80 grand. And now you got to be over 100K to make each event. And I think that just goes to show where the sport of rodeo is headed. There's a lot more money being added to rodeos. There's more rodeos popping up throughout the country. And the options are kind of endless when it comes to where you want to go and, what you want to do. So pretty dang cool. And I think that, if you don't know what to do or how to enter rodeos and you're a buck and horse rider, come to OPA because we teach you that hands-on how to enter. Caleb Bennett walks you through what to be looking for in PSN, all of these things where it's listing rodeos and he's giving you the roadmap to enter as a permit holder, as a potential NFR qualifier. Like, it doesn't matter. He will teach you it all. So if you guys haven't checked out OPA, Optimal Performance Academy, check it out. It's on our Instagrams. And this will probably be out right when we're having that school or just before. So I won't talk about registration because it'll be a little too late. But next one, be on the lookout for it. Let's get into some goal setting, guys, because we've, all these things we just talked about are end of goals. We've just seen all these guys accomplish their goal throughout the season, and some guys accomplishing goals that it's taken years to get to, making their first NFR. And here we are. Start of season 2024 is upon us. Like, we're already in it. Granted, there's not any money to be won yet, but this is the perfect time to set those goals and really, figure out what's going to keep you fired up throughout the rest of the year, because it's hard for me to even fathom December now. Like, from this year, it's just still a couple months away, but these goals that people are setting are going to be setting you up for the following December. So you damn sure better make sure that your why is strong and that that you're able to continue on this and see the vision through those goals. What's the importance, Paul, like of setting goals? Especially for rodeo athletes?
I think the most important thing is, and it's hard to see it when you're sitting down and writing your goals, maybe that first day, but like, this is something that you're going to want come July, August of next year, because it's going to, like, the road's going to get hard. Like, things are going to maybe not go your way, or you're going to start to question yourself. But like having a goals and a roadmap, like that you've written down, are going to help kind of keep you on the course. They're going to keep the ship pointed in the right direction. And, it's one less thing that you have to concern yourself with in that moment and make emotional decisions, because you already have that roadmap written out. And if you're following that roadmap and you're at least somewhat close to where you're trying to get to, then you can be like, okay, I'm doing the right things. Like, it's a little bit of reassurance, I guess, is basically the best way to put it. But like, I think that's probably the most important thing, is because the season is long and it's hard. And like, there's going to be those times where emotions are going to play into that, and you're going to question everything. And just having that narrow framework that you're working off of is going to help keep everything on the wheels on the road, so to speak.
Absolutely, man. And I think that, you talking about it's going to get tough and it's going to be a long road that's like the easy way to put it. Like this is going to be probably one of the hardest things you've ever tried to accomplish, besides killing an elk. We'll get into that later, but it's tough, man. It's hard, and it's not for the weak-hearted, and you have to have good systems in place, and setting goals in general is the first part of that system that's going to lead you to success. And so you have to be able to think about what do you really want to achieve, and how you're going to do that. So, Logan, why don't you run us through like the different types of goals really quick? Short-term, long-term, performance-based, personal goals, outcome-based.
I typically think of I typically think of goals in two categories. They're either going to be outcome based or they're going to be process based. And then once you kind of get within those, then you've got like short term and long term. And so we most often in rodeo, we see outcome goals, and we maybe are going to see some of that this year. We see the make the NFR. And so I think a lot of that is why we see so many guys bunch up in the, 12th to 18th, 20th position, is everybody's subconsciously thinking 15, 15, 15, 15. And so that's where they land. And that's an outcome goal. The problem with outcome goals is that you have very, very little control over that. There's so many things over the course of a year in rodeo that you just have no control over. And so making sure, I think that having an outcome-based goal as kind of the big thing that we're reaching for is important. You need to know the direction that you're heading. But once you figure out a destination, now we've got to come up with the route, and that's where the process goals come in. We've got to think about what is it going to take from you on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, break it down into those short-term goals. What do you have to do and be consistent with to be able to reach that goal? And it's extremely important that when you're setting an outcome goal, that's something that's going to keep you, like you guys said, pushing. A personal example for me is the first year I went to the Great Lakes Circuit Finals, my goal was make the circuit finals. Well, you know what? I made the circuit finals, and I could have left after we checked in and they gave me my jacket. That was all I was thinking about all year, was the jacket, getting a jacket. I wanted the creds. I wanted the reputation. I wanted to be a circuit finals qualifier. I won 0 doll hairs at the first Great Lakes Circuit Finals. And it was because I had just had that outcome goal. I didn't really have a finish top 5, or a finish top 3 or something within the circuit that kept me driving once I got there. And I definitely didn't have any process goals. I didn't have a route picked that helped me get to that destination.
That's a great example. And I think that, like you were saying, so many guys probably fall into that little category of having an outcome goal. They reached it, and then, like you said, you could have left and been cool with just having the jacket, because in your head, like there's no further road to go down. I'm already there. I've done it. And like you said, you won nothing. So, I mean, apparently, like, could have just walked away and said, boom, like you done did it. But it's super important to have goals beyond just that one little thing, like just making the NFR. Like Beast, we'll get into the goals of it, or the measures of it, and we call them SMART goals. We teach this at our school. This is not something we invented. This is in every single goal setting book you could probably imagine. But SMART meaning specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. All of those things are criteria for your goals that you're setting, and are going to make your goals so much better and you're able to see that roadmap right with this. So well, let's run through how to make them smart. So instead of just saying, oh, I want to make the circuit finals, how can we be more specific about that, Logan?
I think, what do they take to the circuit finals? 12. Okay. So where am I going to finish in that top 12? That's something that's very specific. I have to think about, where am I shooting for? My first year on my permit, maybe I'm just looking to be in the top 5, and so looking at that, what is something that's going to stretch me a little bit, but it has to start as being specific. So if I set that specific goal as being in the top 5, I know that is going to help me. I'm going to check that make circuit finals box by setting that specific goal. It's measurable, because at the end of the year, we either did it or we didn't do it. It's definitely something that's achievable. Sometimes we say, hey, I want to win the circuit, and it's your first year going to pro rodeos, and you're going against guys like Tanner Oz and Tim O'Connell and Jess Pope and Ty Pope, and I'm not trying to say that I don't believe in you. I'm just saying, how achievable is that? How attainable is that your first year when nobody knows you and you're still honing your craft? It's probably not that realistic yet. It will be, but just this year, maybe that top 5 is a better measurable, attainable goal. Is it relevant? Sometimes we get caught up in setting goals that really actually don't even help us get where we're going. You know, if I'm trying to be a professional bareback rider, being in the top 5 in the Great Lakes circuit is a great first step for me. You know, I don't need to worry about, I'm not worried about winning $50,000 and being in the top 40 in the world standings my first year on my permit. That's not relevant for me right now. My first step is to get a circuit finals qualification and hone my skills. And then it needs to be timely or time bound. And so we naturally have that built in with rodeo because we have this regular season, October 1st to September 30th. So we have a timeline in which we will know, did we reach our goal or did we not reach our goal? So for me, I should have said finish top 5 in the Great Lakes circuit would have been a much better goal my first year on my permit than just make circuit finals.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, dude. Athlete to do, and you just call yourself that, you know? And then so we run into this mix of, are we really doing the things that we need to do, or are we just like relishing in the name of I'm a professional rodeo athlete? Because they're very different things. Nutrition, Paul, like how could someone make smart goals with nutrition?
Yeah, so this one would be this. I don't know, man. Well, I do know. It's blurred lines a little bit because everybody's going to eat every day. So like you have to really kind of dial it in. Like it's going to take a little bit more planning. You know, you might be setting out on, you know, your first, circuit finals run, and maybe you haven't worked out before, but you see everybody else working out and you think you should be. So like, that's kind of a new thing. But like with eating, like there's a little bit more of a psychological shift that kind of has to happen as well. And because you've eaten your whole life, like, and now you just have to set new nutrition goals. And I think the first thing that would come to mind is when it comes to being specific is like you have to have a little bit of education around it. And so like knowing what you need to be eating is going to probably be the big thing. And then I would say measurable, you're going to need to track it in some form or fashion. So you need to know what you need to eat. You need to be able to measure it. And for performance-based goals, like it should be pretty achievable because you're not going to be trying to go on a diet per se, unless you know that you need to lose weight before your next physical goal that you're trying to get to. But I would start smaller with nutrition goals because a lot of people would try to go too hard too fast, and all I could think about was when you were talking about the working out goals. Like what's the one we hear a lot is people say like, I'm going to go for a run every day. Well, they do the same thing with nutrition. They're like, I'm not going to eat carbs anymore. And it's like those two things are very hard to achieve because they're not realistic, like, and they're not relevant. And that comes from education. Like, so those things we hear all the time, and neither one of them are necessarily going to help you get any better in the arena. And so I think education is a good first place to start with both of those things. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're already doing a good job of that. So, but the kind of figuring out how I'm going to circle this back around, but with nutrition, you need to track, probably. If you're have something specific that you're wanting to achieve, you need to track it, and then you need to make sure that the tool that you are using, if you are trying to improve your nutrition, if you're going to use intermittent fasting, or if you're going to go with a more whole foods diet, or if you're going to, say try to hit your protein goal, whatever it is, like make sure it's relevant for the goal that you're actually trying to achieve for your body, not just, something you read in a tabloid magazine. And then time bound is another one with,
sorry, he's frozen.
I think with all of these goals, we tend to shorten the amount of time. We tend to shorten the amount of time that we think it's going to take. And so I would plan out a little bit longer than what you think it's going to take. Like, say, if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to, hit a new PR, like maybe set that goal out just a little bit longer, maybe times it by, 1.5 times what
at
you
least
think it's going to take.
At least.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good point.
Because we think we underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years, and we overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year. And so like you need to have just a more long-term focus, I think, when you're setting goals like that.
I totally agree, man. And I think that goes for nutrition, fitness, rodeo. Everyone thinks that you set these goals and they're going to happen in 2 months, and it takes fucking years to get to where you want to go. And being consistent every single day or to your plan, if that's 4 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever it is, you've got to be consistent, and then you're going to see those changes. You're never going to see changes in 2 months that lead to the long-term success that you're looking for. So just take that away with you right now. You're in it for a while. This isn't a 2-month, 6-month thing. You will see changes, and you will get closer to your goals in that time, but you're probably not going to get to your end goal. And if you do in that amount of time, honestly, it's not big enough. Your why needs to be bigger. You need to dig deeper and find out what's going to keep you going for those years. Just kind of circling back to the nutrition, tracking is number one. You have to track the intake of food that you have each day. If you don't have a good education on it, like Paul said, you're doing a great job listening to this podcast. If you want to go further, get a coach. That's what we're here for. Reach out to us, championlivingfitness.com, hit the athlete sign up form, get a free consult, get to talk to the coaches, find out which coach can be best for you. We help you set these goals. It's perfect. But for someone listening, if you're just using your hands, like we've talked about before, for measuring your food, I would say specific would be, I'm going to get 2 palms worth of protein per meal. I'm going to get 2 cups handfuls of carbs per meal. I'm going to get 2 thumbs worth of fat per meal. And I'm going to eat that consistently 3 times a day, every week. And that's going to help everything. It's going to make it specific, measurable, achievable. And then one thing you can note is how you're feeling during your performances while eating these things. What time did you eat your last meal before you rode? Did you feel better? This last time you ate way closer to when you rode. Oh, I felt shittier. It's like, okay, now we have time frames here that that your body's reacting to to the intake of food, and we need to time it out better. So you're just learning so much more about yourself that way as well. Performance goals. I just want to touch on these really quickly. Talk about making the NFR, talk about making circuit finals. I want to be top 5 in the Great Lakes circuit at the end of this year. What do I have to do? You have to ride and cover X amount of horses. Not only do you have to do that, you have to win X amount of dollars to get there. Or last year, you'll be able to judge that off of. What that all leads to is the fundamentals of riding. And the only way the only thing you got to do is the basics perfect. And those are everything else will line up accordingly, right? So the second I start thinking about, I need to, be putting more pressure on this foot, and then I need to be lifting this way, dude, just top 10. What do I have to do? I need to get on my spurtboard every day. I need to work out 4 times a week. I need to monitor my meals and intake of food every single day. And then I need to do the fundamentals perfectly. And that's it. I'd think about nothing less or nothing more when I get to the competition. I'm getting to the rodeo. Besides, I lift on my rig and I set my feet. I tuck my chin. That's it. Lift, set, tuck. That's all. And it was the best I've ever ridden in my life. And I got to consistently see that for about 10 head of horses. And it was getting better and better. It was wild. And I was sitting there thinking, damn it, where was this 10 years ago, 7 years ago before I got hurt and before I, got this all figured out. But it just took me that long it took me getting hurt, taking years off, training guys and getting to talk with them about it every single day. And then all of a sudden I'm like, ding, ding, ding. Like, hey, this is way simpler than you ever made it. The only thing that's different is you're way more consistent about doing those simple things and the monotony of it. And that's where I think a lot of guys get messed up is they get quote unquote bored. And so they want to jump from thing to thing and high intensity thing to the next high intensity exercise. And, oh, this was boring. It's like, dude, you honestly don't get any better at a movement. Me and Logan were talking about this yesterday when we were programming for the NFR for NFR athletes this year. These guys aren't going to master a movement in 6 weeks. They're not barely going to master in 8 weeks. You have to practice these same movements over and over and over to be a master of it. Same way in the rodeo arena, each event, you have to do that thing over and over and over to be good at it. And once you do all of the things over and over and over, they all come together and you excel and go way past where you ever thought you could be. And that's the most important thing I think that we're missing as a population of rodeo athletes is, 1, never been a real sport before. So 2, this is all very, very new to everyone. And 3, the internet makes you believe that if you just go do this for a little bit, you'll see the results. You go do that, you'll see the results. It's all bullshit. You got to do the fundamentals perfectly every single damn time, and you're going to see the results. And we're talking about, again, years of consistency, right? These guys that are coming up hot and they're young, pumped for them. But if they don't continue to take care of their bodies and do the things that athletes do, they will not be there for long. And you can mark my words on that. And we've seen it over and over. So if you're out there, you need to set goals, re-listen to this, SMART goals, short-term, long-term, outcome versus performance. All of these things are tied together. You just have to, get them all in line and makes it simpler. It makes it so much easier when you know where you're going and what you have to do each day to get there. The hardest part is continuing to do that and not letting yourself self-sabotage you by thinking, oh, look at that guy doing that over there. I should do that. It's like at the end of you do a month of look at that guy. All of a sudden you've done a different thing every single day, and there's been zero consistency to what you're really trying to do in your goals, right? So be consistent, make some SMART goals. If you guys need help, reach out to us. We'd always love to help you guys out and give you information. That's what we're here for. So again, if you're needing a coach, if you're wanting to take that next step in your fitness journey, your rodeo journey, all of the above, check us out, championlivingfitness.com. Athlete sign up form, just click that. It sets you up a free consultation. No charge to you. You get to talk to a coach, get all your questions answered. And sometimes we're not the best fit, but we can tell you what is. We can tell you what we think is the best fit for you. And I hate to say it, but there's probably not a lot of coaches out there like that. Like, we're really transparent in what we do, and we're fans of people getting help, however it is, whether it's us or another coach. We just want to make the athletes in rodeo better. And that's how we do it, is collaboration, with other coaches, with other people. And that's the game, man. That's how we make the sport grow. And I think we've been doing a really good job of that. Got to thank our sponsors, Beastmaster Rodeo, been with us since day one. Check them out, beastmasterrodeo.com. Use our discount code CHAMPIONLIVING. Ooh, it's been a long time. Is that all uppercase with them?
I think so.
I think it is. It's all caps, Champion Living, one word. It's going to save you 10% on all Beastmaster rodeo gear. Literally, any event, any position in rodeo, whether you're a stock contractor, pickup man, bull rider, team roper, calf roper, bareback rider, they have equipment for you, and they're consistently making their products better by asking the athletes what they want. And you can see it in their development. It's been so cool.
Just dropped as of this
They're
recording,
sick.
So.
Yeah, they are absolutely sick. I saw they had some comfort vests they're coming out with, which look really cool, and do a great job of protecting the guys as well. So super cool. Check them out again. Beastmasterrodeo.com. Discount code ChampionLiving, all one word. caps locked. And then we have got to thank HOOEY Brands, who, man, they've played a huge part in what we're doing and supporting what we do, and could not do this without them. Check them out, HOOEYBrands.com. Use our discount code CHAMPIONLIVING, all one word. It is not case sensitive. It'll save you 10% on all their products. Their fall line is just dropping now. So check out new lids, new shirts. We always brag about their jeans. All the groomsmen wore the jeans at the wedding, and everyone's like, I was kind of doubting these, but I put them on, and these are the best things ever. I'm like, they're completely starched up, and you can still do a squat in them. So they're the kitties' titties. All right, check them out, HOOEYBrands.com. Guys, until next time, we'll catch you later.